Hello, my lovely ladies. Antique Athena here. So, today we're going to cover a very simple type of hairstyle that the Victorians wore all the time. As mentioned before, Victoria really liked the tight, pulled back bun look where the hair was pulled back from the face. The bun is at the nape of the neck. Very simple, but you will notice I do have a little bit of flourish added in to my hairstyle, and we're going to teach you how to put some of those flourishes into your hair. We're going to start with the simple bun and then add in those details. So we'll get right to it. Alright, so we're going to work on how to make a bun in your hair that's Victorian style. Having this slick pulled back look like Victoria is a very popular way, but then once you got to this point, her hair wasn't always exactly smooth and put together, so you had a little bit more details added in. So there's a couple ways we can do that. Easiest way you could possibly do that is just to braid the hair and then pin it up. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to braid all this hair. Now if you don't know how to braid, you simply put your hair into 3 strands. You see my hair split? And you're going to crisscross them over all the way down there. Alright, now that I've reached the end, I want to tie this off with a little hair elastic, like this, because I don't want it to fall out. Alright, so you could just use this braid right here, wrap it all up, have a bun, you're done. But one other thing that you could do is you can flatten out and fan out the braid. Now a very simple way to flatten out the braid, you could just start pulling. You see the difference here, just from me pulling. On the top it's very tight and smooth, and the bottom right here it's very big. And see, I didn't even do very much, but it almost doubled the volume. By doing this, you make your hair look bigger for those who don't have hair quite as long as mine. Also, by doing this, you then give your bobby pins more to grip onto and distribute the weight a little bit more. Alright, so we're now going to take this braid and we're going to wrap it around. You want this nice and smooth. Wrap it all the way around. Take the ends, tuck them underneath. You see I got a nice little form right there, and you want to bobby pin that in. So when you take the bobby pin, what you want to do is you want to catch the braid, it's caught on the braid, hook it against your head, and slide it under. That's what we call anchoring. It's a big trick when it comes to bobby pins. It allows you to use less bobby pins for more amount of hair. So we're going to do that again. We did one over here, so let's do one on the other side. So you cut the braid, wrap it around, and slide it under. And so now all my hair is held in place. I have a very simple bun. It looks rather big and voluminous, even if your hair is about shoulder length, a little bit longer. If you do that very flat against your head, you make it look a lot bigger. By putting in a braid, you hold all your hair together, and so it doesn't look quite as misshapen as simply rolling your hair up and putting a hair tie in, which is possible, but it doesn't look quite as good. Alright, we're going to move on to our next hairstyle. Alright, so we're back down to hair's all loose again. Now, in the last one, you could also do a rope braid, which we'll talk about a little bit more, because rope braids will really come in handy with this next hairstyle. As mentioned before, the ladies really loved to add flourishes to their hair. They didn't usually like the just straight slicked back because, well, the married women wore a day cap, so it didn't really matter for them. young ladies didn't always have something covering their head, so they wanted to make it look a little bit nicer, a little bit prettier. And what was very popular at the time was a wide face using your hair. Now, there's many different ways that can be done. We're going to go over a couple of those. The simplest and easiest possible way is to take these front sections of hair and twist them back. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this, split this in half nice and evenly down the center. You can simply take a piece of hair, twist it, grab another piece of hair, add it in, twist it, and keep doing that all the way back. So again, twist, twist. You see what's going on here? I'm starting to create this twist going on the side of my head. Now, I could just leave it like this, or if I wanted to create more volume, I do just lightly pull on it, very lightly. You see it just added a little bit of volume. Now that I'm at the back of my head, I want to pin that in place so it doesn't move, like that. And we're going to do the same on the other side because you want to be symmetrical. Now from here, I could do the braid again and do a little wrap at the back of my head, another bun. But we're going to do a rope braid. Since we have twists in the front, so we're going to do a rope braid. So whenever you get the rope braid, make sure any knots that you got from twisting your hair is out. So the fact that I had two sides to my hair, I'm going to use those two sides to my advantage. Now when you rope braid, you have the two sides, you cross them over and twist. And you want to twist these strands the same way, because you're going to twist them back like that. So twist and switch, twist and switch, all the way around until you have no more hair. Once again, I've tied it off with an elastic. I now have this braid. And again, we can keep it tight like the way I have it, or you could pull it apart, loosen up. Now, pulling apart like this doesn't really do much. What you want to do is you want to take one little twist there and pull it like that. You see, it already looks bigger on top than it was before. So now we have this. We're going to do another bun, just twisting it around. So, because I have this, I want to follow the way that it's going. So I twist it this way. Let's follow that around. All the way around, hide your ends. You see? Got a little bun. Because of the placement of the twist, the bun's a little bit higher this time. Take my bobby pin, hook it on the braid, and around. So, you see, you now have a bun in back and the front here. And if I still think that that's a little bit too tight, see, it looks a little uneven, I'm just going to pull on it very lightly, loosen up some of the hairs. So now it looks a little bit wider. Another great 1800s hairstyle. Alright, so we're going to move on to our last hairstyle. Alright, so for this last one is the one that gets a little bit more complicated because it requires you to have a little bit more hair skill, because we're going to be doing some French braiding. And I know not everyone can do French braiding. We can go into more depth of detailed videos on that at a later date, but we're going to do very lightly what it is. So French braiding is the braid that I taught you before with the same concept that I taught you with the twist. Now what you want to do is the same concept that we used with the twisted hairstyle, is you want braids on both sides of the head, just like you had the twist, because it will add volume. This is a great hairstyle for if you have several-day-old hair and it's starting to look a little bit greasy. You're going to pull from the front here, just a little piece. See, it's not very big. Grab 3 strands, make sure that they're even. You see I have 3 strands here, and I'm going to go straight back with this. Okay, so now holding them in a position that's more comfortable, I'm going to twist one over the top, and then I'm going to bring the other outside on the opposite side. And at this point, you grab a piece of hair on the same side and you pull it in. Same strand, put in the middle. Now you're going to cross over the nut outside on the opposite direction. And again, grab a piece of hair right up next to where the other one is. Add it into that outside strand. Bring it to the middle. And do this all the way down your head. Alright, you see, we did it all the way down. See, have it to the very end, as far as I could go. Now, from here, you can widen this out a little bit. Once again, that loosening it up by pulling on the hair a little bit. It doesn't quite work as well when it's a French braid. Works great on the braid itself, just like before, when we kind of pull it out. Another good way is that you just massage it, and that will also loosen it up. Now, because your hair is going to be half the size of braids, instead of that big one in the back, you do want to loosen these ones up a lot more just to keep that volume. Okay, so this side we're going to do a little bit of a different kind of hair incorporated braid. This is what we call a Dutch braid. So while this one was a French braid and you brought the middle strand over the top, we're going to do this one where you bring the middle strand under the top, and that causes the braid to rest on top of the head instead of underneath. Okay, so I'm going to take this middle one again. This time you see I went under and then under. Now we're back to that outside strand. I'm pinching it with my fingers so I can grab a piece of hair and slip it in with it. So now it's thicker, and go under. And then grab a piece of hair, slip it in with that middle strand, and go under. And all the way to the back of the head. Alright, so you see the difference here? It's resting on top, where this one, it was incorporated in. Pull that out a little bit too, add a little bit of a pop, and again, widen your braid a little bit, add some volume. Alright, so now that you're at this point, you could just leave it like that, because this is very much the style of the two pigtail French braided braids or Dutch braided braids. But it was usually meant for the small girls. So if you're portraying someone that is 12, sometimes 13 years old and younger, great hairstyle to do. If you're portraying someone that is meant to be a woman already, generally it was known that this was your girl hair, and when it was pulled back into higher hairstyles, that was your woman hair, and that meant that you were now out and ready to become a woman and, in a sense, be married. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to put it up into our buns. Now you can incorporate both of these into the same bun or two right next to each other. So we're going to show you both of those. Now if you do just one bun by itself, it's going to be like what we did with the big bun with just two lying right next to each other. Now, got one side up. We're going to rest this one the same exact way right up against the other one. So, you see, this one came right up against my part. So I'm going to kind of press it up against it, wrap it around, and hide my ends. Alright, so you see, I have two blades here, two buns to go with them, right up against each other. Very nice, very stylish, and you will find quite a few hairstyles that are very similar to these, where it's just a bunch of braids overlapping each other across the back of the head. Now we're going to show what one bun together with these two braids looks like. Alright, so we're back down to our two braids. Now, generally I like to put the bigger braid on the outside, so looking at the two here, I think this one is my bigger fatter braid compared to this one. So I'm going to put this one on the inside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it right here to the middle, just as before, wrap it around, hide the ends, and pin it in place. Alright, so now one's up, we're going to take this other one and wrap it around the other bun. So, take this, make sure it's laying flat. So we're going to show you what this looks like now in full form. It's braid about that big. It looks a lot bigger because of the layers of braids, and it wraps around. You can't see any of my ends. It's very secure. Once again, it gives you a little bit of a wider thing on the side of your head. Now this is my preferred to have the Dutch braid because it does have the braid on the outside, but if you don't know how to do that, it's okay. French braid works just fine. Alright, so we have now come to the end of our simple Victorian buns. Very simple things, just little flourishes added in. You can do variations. If you don't know how to do a French braid, just pull the front of your hair, make a braid, tuck it into a bun at the back. Very simple. It just requires having a little bit on the side, adding a little bit of a body to the face shape, because that was the shape that they enjoyed at the time. And it also spruces up your hair a little bit. Doesn't make it so boring as simply a bun. Alright, so we'll get into some other hairstyles at another point. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye! So if you have any suggestions or any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And like this video, new videos will be coming along shortly, and you'll be able to see all my tutorials and tricks in the coming videos. Thank you!